Hey all, Cynthia here. Welcome back. Today I'm going to do a 12 by 12 layout. I'm going through all my papers here from my February kit from the Wild Hair kits, and I'm going to grab the cut apart paper from Crepe Paper. I love this paper. It's a here and there collection, and the cut apart sheet down there at the bottom, the mountain one and the sunny days, is that what it says, the one up the top? I love both of those. They're absolutely gorgeous. And I liked a few others on here as well, and I really wanted to make sure I used them on a layout. So I'm certainly going to use, it says beach days, is that what it says, or sunny days? Beach days, what it says, as you could probably tell anyway. But I don't know, there's something about the design of the card that I really wanted to use. So I have these 3 photos. I actually do have 4 photos printed out, but decided I will try to use 3 on this layout. I do contemplate bringing the 4th one in a minute, but I just stay with the 3. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to make this look. There's where I thought about bringing the 4th one in, and that actually could have worked. It's not a design I generally go for, having everything in the middle of the page, but looking at it now, I probably could have made it work. I end up using these 3 cards, and the postcard one there I do my journaling on. I don't actually do that on camera, I end up doing that off camera, but I just write about the story of the day. So these 3 photos here, I'm just talking about how Edward and I like to go on little adventures together. So come the weekend, we like to get out. My husband works every second weekend, and so Eddie and I like to get out and just do some different stuff. So on this particular day, apart from the fact that it was a really, really, really hot day, up in the 40s, 40 degrees Celsius. I'm not too sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but trust me, it's a very hot day. We went for a bike ride, and we caught a ferry across the channel where I live, and we actually went over, and my husband, who works on the water, brought his boat across to one of the local jetties, and we had a bit of a look at his boat, and our son got to have a bit of a play at the controls, and then he went back to work, and then Edward and I spent the next couple of hours walking along the rocky shoreline, just exploring and just having a bit of fun. So I'm just documenting how we like to go on little adventures and do stuff. Why we've been doing that, I've pulled out these couple of papers here. I'm pretty sure they're crepe paper as well, 6 by 8 papers, and I'm just going to use those to back up the photos. I particularly like how that yellow brings in the yellow from the postcard and the little pop of yellow in the sun. Of course, there's so much black on the left-hand side, I'm going to bring a little strip of this paper here, this triangle paper, in as well, just to bring some of the black across to that side of the page. And I just tuck that in under there, and just a tiny little strip. I've cut this piece here down just to make it stretch a little bit further than what it needed to go. Put that there. It doesn't line up, but I don't think in the end that you particularly notice it by the time I have things on top of it, and hopefully, your eyes going to the photo and the elements on the page, not so much the lining up of the back page. Oh, excuse me. I just got out of bed. It's 5:15 in the morning, and I've been up about 10 minutes, and here I am doing a voiceover, so I'm not quite awake yet. I haven't even had a sip of coffee yet, sitting beside me, waiting for me to finish doing the voiceover. Oh, look at that, talking sip of coffee. I just had one in the video. So I grabbed this little, this cut apart sheet here, and I decided I'm going to trim down those 3 word sentiments, and I'm going to use a couple of them on the page. I think in the end I put 2 of them on the page. I did try to see whether I can get all 3 on, but it just didn't look quite right for me. So I fiddle around how I'm going to get those on the page, and I think I come up with those 2. And then I just take the camera that was on the top part of that cut apart sheet, and I'm going to fussy cut it out and use it as a embellishment on the page. Just going to tuck it in on that side of the photos over there, help sort of balance out the cards that are sitting on the left hand. So I've pulled out all the ephemera pieces and bits and pieces that came with this month's kit, and I'm going to go through and see what I can use. There was a lot of it was around being artistic and art and painting and that type of stuff. So I didn't use too much more. I'll pull out some of these gorgeous hearts from Bramble Fox. If you've seen any of my other videos that I've made this month with this month's kit, you know I rave on about those little hearts each time. They're just gorgeous. What am I deciding? Whether I'll put a little banner up the top, bring this black triangled paper, repeat that on the page, and bring a little bit of the black element up into that top cluster. So I do that. I just made it a little bit thick and going to trim it down. And that is done. I'm going to start sticking everything down. I decided that I will pop this word phrase piece up on some chipboard. So I just used the leftover pieces of my chipboard to back up some of my elements, to pop them up off the page. It works perfectly well. So I'm just going to use that. I think it's the only piece I end up popping up. I did think about doing another piece, but in the end I don't. Grab out my stapler, and I'm just going to staple down these flags up here, and I will use the stapler to staple down my camera as well, just to repeat that element onto that side of the page. Liking the way that comes together. I'm really liking the way that yellow, the card to the sun to the background paper, just seems to lead your eyes around the page and lead your eyes to the top photo, or for me it does anyway. I've already created a page with which I created. No, let me start that again. Let me get these words out. I've already created a page from this day, and it's the one where I went for the bike ride, and I think I caught it seriously. I come back and I was just dripping wet. It was just so hot. I can't believe it was the day that we decided to go for a bike ride and for this walk. Thankfully, it was beside the water, so both of us took our tops off and our hats off and threw a lot of water over us to keep us cool as we walked along the beach. We would have probably ended our trip a little bit earlier, but the ferry that takes us back forgot that they have an hour break around lunchtime. So when we went to hop on the ferry, they said, no, we're not leaving again for another hour. And we went, ugh. So off we had to go walking for a bit longer. Grab this paper here from Amy Tangerine. I absolutely love this paper. I think I've pretty much used it to cut out these little leaves on every page that I created. And I'm really liking the way they look, and just tuck them in, they just poke out from underneath and give that little extra element. So I'm liking the way all those look. I go back in here now and glue them all down. I don't make you watch me do that. I do that off camera. So there you go, they're all glued down now, and this is where I come in with these gorgeous little hearts. I really did like the heart there on that black paper. I like the way that looked, but I just felt like it was, I don't know, didn't lead the eye quite right when I had it there. So it didn't stay. But I think that little heart just there looks quite cute. And looking back on it now, it probably would have worked, but at the time I didn't think it did. Pulling off the cover plastic onto these enamel hearts, not enamel, acrylic hearts. So if you receive any of these, they do have a covering on both sides that you need to take off. So I just use my X-Acto knife to help peel those off, and matte gel medium to glue them down. I find that works best. I'm pretty much coming to the end of the page. There are some close-up photos coming up, so make sure you stay and have a look at those. And that's looking done. I think I'm all cleaned and I'm done. So as always, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the process. Leave me a comment if you did. Give me a thumbs up if you're not already. I would love it if you subscribed. Feel free to jump over and follow me on Instagram as well, and Be Pretty Papers over there. Until next time, everyone, have a lovely day, a lovely week, or a lovely month, and I will catch you on the next video. Until then, bye.